Hi there, Julianne Jones here with the answers to the video Q&A Monday from over on the fan page. It's a very blustery, windy, rainy day here in Walla Walla today. So hopefully the rain won't make too much noise that I can't answer your questions. It's really kind of crazy. I had 3 questions today for Q&A Monday. The first one, I'm going to grab my glasses. Once you organize your paperwork, how do you keep yourself from ending up in a mess again? This is from Terry Mateer. I am a piles girl who hates the look of it. I like things looking clean and organized, but I just can't seem to keep them organized, if that makes sense. I can start off great, but then because I'm keeping track of returns in progress or shows or contacts, I have notes and papers, lists, order forms, school papers, and just stuff that gets put into a pile. Then sometimes things get misplaced because I've walked into another room with the phone and the info. Part of my personality is a perfectionist, and if I can't do the system perfectly or don't have complete directions, I get stuck. The more I read this, the more I feel like an oxymoron. Like organized is messy. Likes organized is messy. So Terry, have no fear. You are not alone. And I am a person like you. I have a high value around order. I'm a little OCD. And even I struggle with this. So I do have a program called Get Organized and Take Back Your Life. I'm going to put a link to that below the video. And I recommend that you check that out because it has really clear systems for all areas of your direct sales business, and it's specific to direct sellers. And I know that that program could be life-changing for you. But regarding this specific question, you are a piler, is what you said. What I would recommend is that you create a system first. And on that program, I teach what I call a hot, warm, and cool, hot, warm, cold process. So basically, you create zones in your office. So the hot zone is right where you sit at your desk. It's anything you can reach within arm's reach, and that's really the action center of your office or your work area, wherever that is. The warm zone is the reference area. It's the part that you need to access sometimes, but not necessarily all the time. And so that would be like if you had to move your chair to get up. In my office, if you look behind me, there are cupboards and countertops. That's my warm area. I keep reference books there, things I don't need to get to that often. And then the cold area is for archive storage, things that you never really need, but that you have to hang on to, like tax records and that kind of thing, just in case. So if you kind of think about your space and also your paperwork or whatever you're dealing with from the hot, warm, cold perspective, then it gives you a way to kind of sort things as they come in. And what you're really talking about is your hot zone. And you have, like you said, things that you're tracking, things that are action items right now. And so keeping that fairly clear will help you feel more at ease. And if you have piles in your hot zone, that's a challenge, right? So what I would recommend is if something comes in that you're tracking, I have an inbox on my desk that I use for that kind of thing so that everything kind of stays in one pile in the inbox, and then at least once a week I go through that inbox and clear things out, make sure that it's not becoming a big pile in and of itself. You can also, as you bring something in, if you don't want to act on it right away, have a place where you can put it that you know you're going to act on it. So I have an iMac, and for Christmas my husband actually bought me this sort of table thing that the iMac sits on that sits on my desk. It actually has power sources and stuff, but there's room underneath it. So if I have something that I know I'm looking at, like a banking thing or a bill or something that needs to have action in the next day or so, I stick it just right on that little tray underneath my computer so that I know it's there, but it's not cluttering up my whole desk. And then when I take action on it, I can file it away in the archive warm zone file folders that I have for that kind of thing. So if you know that you, number one, have a place where you can put things that you know you're tracking but you don't want to take action on right away, so they're not creating piles. And number two, then make sure that system is getting your attention at least once or twice a week. That's great. The third thing that I recommend is at the end of every day, no matter what, before you walk away from either your office or wherever it is you sit down to work, you clear out that hot zone so that it's pristine for you to come back in. In my training, I talk about your hot zone being like, prime real estate on Malibu Beach, beachfront property in Malibu, California, which is almost priceless. It's in the millions, or in Maui or whatever. You wouldn't let a bunch of garbage pile up in front of that house. You'd make sure that you kept it clean and pristine, and that's how you have to think about your hot zone. So before you walk away from your desk in the evening or your work area, make sure you take 5 minutes and just deal with whatever's there. So if there's a pile, take it and go through it and decide, yes, I'm going to file this, yes, I'm going to make that call tomorrow, put it in your inbox, put it in the area wherever you have the immediate action area, and make sure everything's cleaned up. And that way when you come to work the next day, it's a feeling of, I can start with this, it's not a mess, I'm not overwhelmed. So that's my best advice, and I would really check out that program because I think it would support you immensely, especially knowing that you tend to, you want to be organized, but you're kind of a mess, and I get that. I totally can relate to you. Second question is from Chris Payne. I've had women interested in hearing more about our business opportunity when I meet them at a party, and I even set up a date and time to meet with them later. Then when I go to follow up, they cancel via text saying the timing isn't right. When I text back or email back, I get nowhere. What can I do differently to keep them interested? So Chris, there's a couple ways to look at this. First of all, you can look at it as, gosh, I missed that opportunity. That person isn't, responding, or it's really frustrating because I'd like to talk to them because I know that I could convince them to do this business. The other way is to look at it as, if someone's really, truly interested, they're going to reach out and take what's offered to them. And if they're not, they might say in the moment, yeah, I'm interested, but then they're going to hem and haw and kind of hedge their interest once you do actually try to set up a time or actually get together with them. I would tend to look at it the second way, and here's what I want you to get. I'm not saying give up on that person, okay, they're not interested, I'm moving on. But I am saying if someone's, not responding or canceled, if you set up a time and you make sure that at that party, if they say they're interested, you get a time on the calendar, and it sounds like you are, to actually sit down with them. I'm not a big proponent of trying to recruit someone in the moment at the party because there's just too much going on, but to say I'd love to sit down with you and visit with you about how this business could be a good fit for you or could change your life. Not, I want to tell you why you should do this. Really, that interview is about finding out from them what is in it for them, how your business can support them. And if you set up that time with them and then they blow you off or they cancel repeatedly or they never show up or whatever, you have to look at it kind of as a gift because it means that person maybe isn't as serious as they thought. Maybe this isn't the right time for them. You continue to follow up until they tell you, no thank you, I don't want to do this, I'm not interested. And that's really my follow-up philosophy. If someone says they're interested and then we don't connect for whatever reason or they cancel or postpone, I keep following up until they say, you know what, never mind, I changed my mind. And I give them the opportunity. I say, hey, if you don't want me to bother you anymore, just let me know and I'll take you off my list. Otherwise, I'll give you a call back in a couple weeks. So that follow-up piece of it is also super important in this process. But if someone really, truly isn't showing up, if you're chasing them down, probably they're not going to be the best fit as far as a serious person on your team. And so it's okay to let that go and move on to the next person who is more serious. I'm in the middle of this Elite Insider Success Summit. We're actually starting next Monday, and we've been doing interviews and getting prepared for that. And one of the amazing leaders that I interviewed, she has over 10,000 people on her team, and she's an introvert. And actually the topic that she's talking about, her name is Tracy Schwartz. She's talking about how to succeed as an introvert in direct sales, which I thought was such a great topic. And one of the things she said that has stuck with me that I just love this message, and I told her I'm stealing that, is when she goes to recruit, she says, I'm looking for my people. That's all. I'm looking for my people. My people are out there, and if someone's not my person, then they're not going to be interested, or they're going to, wash out, or they're going to cancel or whatever. And that's okay because they're not my people. I'm just looking for my people. So think of it in those terms. And I think you're doing everything right. If it doesn't stick, it's probably not you. It's probably that it's not the best timing for them. But keep following up, and at some point it might be the best timing. So great question, and hopefully that helps. Finally, Jessica, Covey Wanamaker. She says, I have 2 questions. When following up with business consultants and leads, what's the best follow-up times? Is it the same as party leads or a different schedule? I think follow-up's follow-up, Jessica. So I would say, my recommendation is once a week for the first 3 weeks, and choose different days and times each week so you have a better chance of reaching them. You're leaving messages. And if they haven't responded after 3 weeks, then every, couple weeks, every 3 weeks, every, once a month or so, until they ask you to stop or they say they're not interested. And again, when you leave that message, you're saying, hey, we haven't connected. I said I was going to call you. Now, that is a lead with whom you've connected who says, yes, I'm interested in this. Would you please follow up with me? If you're talking about a lead that you've gathered at a fair or a vendor event, and they just drop their name in I want to win a drawing, not as strong a lead, and probably one that you could maybe just put on your mailing list and email out your email newsletter once a month or whatever. But if you're talking about someone who said, I want to learn more, and you've made that connection, then it's your obligation to continue following up with them until they ask you to stop. So once a week for the first 3 weeks, and then about once a month ad infinitum after that until they say, enough, I'm not interested. Or they say, yes, I'm interested, and they sign up. Okay? Second question. I would love to know how to build a big team. I've always sponsored, recruited by accident, and now that I'm actually trying to sponsor, my results haven't been the same. So I'm wondering what best practices I should be doing. Thanks. So that's a big conversation. It's a whole training program, Jessica. I have a great program, audio program called Building a Strong Direct Sales Team that kind of gives you that whole process. But I will tell you just in general, when it comes to sponsoring, the idea, in my opinion, is to share what you love about your opportunity, your business, your product, why it's been so great, such a great fit for you, how it's changed your life, and then ask a lot of questions. You know, what would you like to be different in your life? You know, how would being able to change your life support you? Because you really need to figure out if it's a good fit for someone. And the best way to do that is to ask them questions and help them sort of see, well, I can see how this might work for me. Okay, so really share from your heart about what the difference it's made for your life, and ask questions and listen. The only way to feel pushy is if you're trying to push something on someone else. So if you're telling someone, this is why you should do this, here are the reasons this would be great for you, that's going to feel pushy because it is. But if you come from the space of, I just want to share my passion for what I do and why it's changed my life, and I want to find out if it might be a good fit for you by asking you questions about yourself, that's, in my opinion, the best way to sponsor someone. Thanks, you guys, for those questions. I'll be posting this, and I'll tag you so that I make sure you see the answers. And join us again next Monday on the fan page, the Facebook business page, for Video Q&A Monday. Hope you're having a fabulous day. All of the deets on how to reach me are below this video, so you'll find me on Pinterest, LinkedIn, the YouTube channel if you happen to be on YouTube watching this. My email easy, and I send a Friday newsletter every week that has a link to the blog post I write every week. So lots of ways to reach me on social media, including Video Q&A Monday. So if you're not you haven't liked the business page yet, make sure you do that so that you can be a part of this and come over and ask your questions. I love having this sort of virtual conversation with you. Go out and create a fabulous day.